Mayor Morris,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Rupertus will be out tonight. Alderman Green, absent. Alderman Madray,
Here.
Alderwoman Jones,
Here.
Alderwoman Hoffman. Here. Mayor, you do have a quorum.
Marcy, you lead pledge.
Yes. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you, guys. No special presentation today. No public hearing. I guess at this point, citizens request to speak before council. First person will be Andrea Sperring. Are you on the phone still?
I am.
Go ahead.
Thank you very much. This is Andrea Sperry, 16617 Jamaica Beach Road. I am calling again to thank you all for keeping people that can't physically be there able to be part of the democratic process of Jamaica Beach. I truly appreciate the ability to not physically be there, but to be part of the process. And I want to commend council and especially Debbie Nesbitt for making this possible for those of us that can't physically be there. I would like to ask a question regarding the migratory pathways of the birds through Galveston Island. There was recently several articles about migratory pathways and trying to do dark night along the migratory pathways. Galveston Island is a huge migratory pathway. And I was wondering if there's any way we can get hooding or time out on the commercial lights that are in Jamaica Beach. They're extremely bright. I understand they're there for security purposes. However, I'm a front row beach house and I can't open my blinds at night because of the light from those commercial buildings. And I'm sure this is messing with our migratory bird population. And this has recently become an issue nationwide about migratory population. Galveston had a very high bird death toll last year as they ran into buildings and hundreds of birds died. And I was hoping Jamaica Beach could be in the forefront of a movement to facilitate the migratory bird process through our island. Again, thank you very much for the ability to speak remotely. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Great point. Would you, Marcy, would you like to address it?
Yeah, Andrea, this is Alderman Hoffman. As part of our Bird City, Texas designation that Galveston and Jamaica Beach are designated as, that is part of the movement that we're already doing. We just have to wait. We don't have to wait actually for anything, but they will be sending out official designations for that. And putting out, they're already, the dates are already out, but I just need to get that released, I guess, to those commercial businesses, because it is now, I believe, until May that they're asking for that to happen. So I will get a hold of that packet from my employer. He is part of that process, and we'll get that rolling sooner than later.
Thank you, Alderman Hoffman. I appreciate that. If you could forward that to me, Debbie Nesbitt has my contact info, and I would really appreciate being part of that conversation. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Next person, Mark Sloan.
Hello, everybody. My name is Mark Sloan. I live at 16531 Jamaica Cove Road. Thank you for letting me talk tonight. Excuse my appearance. I'm doing a little facial peel, so I'm not diseased yet. I'm here to kind of touch base again with what I brought up a month ago. Because it's been exactly a month ago about the problems that I had with Chief Hyman and what was not done. Because I don't know what was done, but I know what was not done. And that is, when am I gonna be part of this loop? When will my concerns be addressed? I know for one thing, Clay, yourself, with you and I voted for you for alderman, and transparency was your big thing.
Yeah, and we are addressing that, and we will be getting back in touch with you. It will, take a little longer than we expected, but yes, I can assure you, I promise you.
Well, I hope that's true. I hope that's true. I have a hard time giving you the benefit of the doubt because it's been a year and a half since it happened. A year and a half. That's a long time. I made phone calls to a couple people, you being one of them, and I was stonewalled. And I understand some things you can't talk about, but as a citizen of Jamaica Beach, I feel like I ought to be at least acknowledged that there potentially is a problem instead of blown off like, shut up. Or when I went and talked to Brad Hyman about it, the first, and anyone who's listened to the tape, and has everybody heard that tape? Because I got a copy of it if anybody wants to hear it again. The whole part of that tape was threatening with suit because of something that my wife said on Facebook that she took down and that wouldn't even tell me what it was. The only thing I was told is that it's on my attorney's desk pending potential lawsuit.
No.
I'm not intimidated.
Okay, we're not looking to give out details and get into any type of stuff, but yes, I can
So I'm
assure
not
you.
allowed to talk about that.
No, you're welcome to talk about.
No, I'm not
the
expecting
event.
I'm not expecting an answer from any of y'all in this forum right now. I'm letting you know what I do expect, and it's getting to the point where if I don't get, I'm not gonna say satisfaction because I'm not one to pass judgment on what happens. But this is the next step, the Galveston County District Attorney's Office. I got plenty of time, folks, and I've got plenty of patience, and my patience with the city council is running very, very short. Thank you for listening to me. Like I said, nothing personal with any of y'all, but something needs to happen. Things need to be addressed. Thank you.
Dale Hubert.
Thank you, Mayor. Council. I can't tell you how excited I am about this new video thing that we're doing. I think that's gonna open up a tremendous amount of transparency. Mayor, are you familiar with, what your official duties are in government code?
Absolutely.
Can you tell me what they are, sir?
We don't have time for that at this time.
I have time in my 3 minutes. Okay? You're the chief executive officer of the city. You actively ensure that the laws and the ordinance of the municipality are properly carried out. You inspect the conduct of each subordinate municipal officer and shall cause any negligence, carelessness, or other violation of the duty to be prosecuted or punished. Those are some of your duties, Mayor. If you recall, like Mr. Sloan said, you hadn't addressed the complaints. I brought my complaints here a month ago. I've still not heard anything. I even asked you on the last meeting, were they forgotten? And you said, no, they're not forgotten.
And we're still not forgotten.
They're still not forgotten. Well, you remember what I said I needed to see in here? Public information requests, are they available for me right now, sir? I can tell you I don't see them. Therefore, I'll say no, they're not, you're not trying to be very transparent, so we're gonna take the next step.
You sent 3 of them in, or 2 of them in today.
I asked to have it stacked up in here. They're not here. So I'm gonna address the next step, okay? Can you tell me who owns the trailer that's parked in the back of the wastewater facility? Can you tell me that, Mayor?
Not right now.
Okay, well, you don't need to tell me, because I can tell you, I know who owns it, okay? It belongs to West End Maintenance. West End Maintenance is owned by Mr. Russell Rupert, who's a councilman, who's using city property to benefit or negate paying storage fees for his personal property. Okay? That is a violation of law, sir. I expect to see remedy.
Excuse me, order. You were to address city council as a whole, no one in particular.
Good point. Okay? City council as a whole, can you tell me where the rock came from that's on your property, Mayor? Back over here at your storage facilities. Can you tell me where that rock came from?
Which rock are you talking about?
I'm talking about the Bull Rock, sir. Can you tell me where it came from?
It was given to me.
And who gave it to you, sir?
Some people doing some work.
Okay.
Getting ready to take it to the dump.
Sir, can I read you what theft is as a public servant?
That's enough. Time's up. Thank you, sir.
I'll finish my next three on the next one, okay?
Okay, we go to the next item. Reports from directors.
I don't have one, sir.
Police, would you like to address?
Mr. Mayor, I'll be very brief. As you all know, that we start spring break this weekend, and the police are prepared totally. The new signs as far as parking in the dune preservation signs are out. They look very good. We are still waiting on some of the regulatory signs that are on bipartisan, and they will be up hopefully before the weekend. But we are fully staffed and ready to go as far as that's concerned. Addition to that, I will be presenting the city's police department racial profiling report to council on the next meeting. And outside of that, we have nothing.
Thank you, Brett. I have a question.
Yes, sir.
On the state park boundary,
Yes, sir.
I went by and looked at the signs. Looked at all the signs. The state park boundary, that set of posts,
Yes, sir.
what's the rules on parking up against those posts?
Well, as long as you're not blocking access through that area, then there's no signs, but there's no vehicular access on that part, so they'd have to be blocking pedestrian access. With an exception, if there is one space there for emergency authorized vehicles only, nothing can block that.
Well, it's difficult to tell because I know we've given people tickets for parking over there in the past. So that's what I don't want to see happen again.
Well,
Either they can park there or they can't park there.
That was posted as no parking before, and that's when they received citations. That's no longer posted.
Okay, so people can actually park there, we're not gonna give them tickets anymore.
That's correct.
Thank you.
But you still have to keep that open and clear.
Yes, the open has to maintain vehicular access. Anything else?
Members of council.
Yes, the Mardi Gras festivities were not very well attended. I'm just gonna chalk that up to weather and hope that we will get the ball rolling with Easter. As I'm wrapping up my last couple of months on council, a few things will get done at the park. We're a little bit behind for the playground equipment just because we are waiting on the city website capabilities to do the survey for which type of equipment we wanted for the citizens to vote on that. So I'm working with Debbie to move forward for that. There's a few trees out there still that maybe are not recovering from the freeze. I'm gonna go scrape them, see if we need to trim those back on the back wall of the park. I keep opening the bay doors on the pavilion and citizens keep closing them. We're missing 5 padlocks. If anybody knows where they are, please return them to the city, that locked the doors open, but our city maintenance guy did report some, signs of riffraff when the bay doors are all down, so, and I like that the police can see through and monitor that a little bit better, so I don't mind them being pulled down for events, but you have to run the pavilion to be able to modify those doors. So I'm looking for those, and then we'll do a big spring cleaning event for the storage unit, we'll do Easter. I think that's what I have.
Okay, listen. This guy, Dr. Logan.
Mr. Mayor, I ask questions. I ask a lot of questions, and I want to thank Debbie and Anna for always being helpful and gracious with answering all of my questions and searching for documents to help me understand our city better. In 2020, I made 64 open requests asking for city documents and shared them on social media. I have asked for city audits, the financials, the checks, the monthly check register, etc. These are available as open records. Items not available on the old city website, and I shared them on social media, which is legally improper. They are public record. These are items easily available on other city websites, and Debbie, I look forward to seeing these kind of documents on our city website. I hope that's very soon. I look almost every day, so I'm excited to see those. Debbie, you're the officer of record, which is a sworn position, and that position comes with a great deal of accountability for keeping the documents of the city. Thank you for finding all the documents that I've asked for. I realize it takes time to track down the information and appreciate your efforts. The most transparent way to get an official document for the city is with an ORR, an open record request. When it's not on the city website. There's no question, it's not opinion, and it's not hearsay. So, with an ORR. So let's talk about the elephant that's in the room. Citizens are bringing up complaints about staff members during citizen comments, during public meetings. This is our third meeting. We know that by law, they have the right to criticize the body of the government. Many of them have reached out to me in the past few weeks. They feel that they have valid concerns and complaints. Many thought their complaints were added to Mr. Hyman's personnel file. So with an ORR, I asked for a copy of that personnel file, and for any complaints or letters of disciplinary actions by council in those files. According to the ORR, Debbie found no records pertaining to that request. To have no written complaints in a personnel file after working as chief of police for 6 or 7 years is a remarkable accomplishment. But what about our citizens who are here with public complaints coming to city council? What is the process for submitting a letter of complaint or a letter of praise and putting it in his staff's folder? Certainly Mr. Hyman is not in control of his own records, with Debbie being the officer of record. So tonight, I do have 2 formal complaints to file that I want on public record to be added to Mr. Hyman's permanent personnel file. I wanted it to be public so there's no question that the items will be in there 6 months or 6 years from now, and they won't be misplaced or lost by accident. To save time, I won't be sharing those here, but I will be sharing them on public media or social media. The good people in Jamaica Beach can decide for themselves if these are valid concerns or complaints or not. I've always tried to be honest and transparent with the city using social media. I wanted to do this in a public forum so there's no question that these letters will be there. I'll be giving Debbie 2 copies of it, one for Mr. Hyman's personnel files because he is in charge of the PD personnel files, and another copy for her file since she is the sworn officer of record. In the past few weeks, I've had 27 people reach out to me with concerning events that involved Mr. Hyman. That makes 29 total with the 2 that are here. I've encouraged each person to reach out, who have reached out to me, to write a letter and have it placed in this file. I appreciate each of you for sharing your stories with me. But talking to me is not going to be a permanent record. You are the only one who can write that letter. I suggest that you give a second copy to Debbie and have it added to her files. If anyone else wants to reach out to me and you want to remain anonymous, I will file your letter of complaint for you, and I'll do everything I legally can to protect your name. There's an old saying, never pose a problem without a solution. May I suggest that the council create a formal procedure for citizens to file a concern or complaint that can be properly investigated, tracked, reported back to citizens with resolution and documentation for each step. And council could also organize a citizens review. There's a guidebook on how to organize it. And it would give that board the power to investigate these kind of complaints and the authority to recommend action. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm working to try to get these entrances into the beachcomber and fixed. Frankly, I've hit a brick wall. I've talked to the guy several times. Have they done anything over there? I didn't check today.
No,
Not recently.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm here, I'm pursuing that. I'm doing what I can. And that's the only thing I can report on that. I have talked to the guy 3 times. He gives me the same story. Last story was, if he sees this, Joel, if you see this, they weren't at the state park doing the entrances over there, like you told me they were gonna be doing. And that's why you couldn't fix our entrance. Thank you.
Other than that, no
Hey,
consent.
it is what it is, Marcy.
I know. Shame on them.
We go to new business. Discussion of possible action to approve resolution 2022-03, authorizing the Director of Operations to approve a proposal from RNA Road Boring LLC for professional services on phase 3 of the waterline replacement project. Do I have a motion to discuss?
I'll make a motion to discuss this.
A second.
I'll second.
Mayor, I apologize, my director's report did not make it to the agenda today, so maybe if you can help me post it on Facebook, on the city site and social media, that would be awesome. I'm just gonna read it out to you also. This is a resolution approving that I'm going to contract with RNA Road Boring LLC for the professional replacement of the water lines project phase 3. Just a little bit of background, RNA is currently on the ground. They were out here on Blackbeard all day today, installing that 4-inch beautiful blue water line that I want to see. So the proposal is a request to consider a resolution approving that we go ahead and enter into a contract to replace the rest of the water lines. And that if anybody cares to see where they're gonna be at, I've got the blueprints here. As far as procedural requirements, an application was published in the official newspaper of general circulation. Pre-construction meeting was held open to the public on February 18, 2022. 5 eligible bids were received for the waterline expansion project. A public bid opening was held on February 25th, 2022. And the bid and all the legalities were handled by John D. Mercer and Associates. The recommended action is that staff recommends that City Council approve a resolution to enter into the contract with RNA Road Boring for professional requirements of water lines project phase 3. This is in accordance with the recommendation of John D. Mercer, and the cost of the bid came in at $218,396. In the agenda packet, you will see the letter of recommendation from the engineers, as well as the bid tabulation and the 5 bids that we received. So we'll get this out as soon as we can. And again, I apologize for this not making it.
Would we budgeted for that?
Yes. Oh, we don't.
What was the amount?
218.
Where have we budgeted?
Some change. 3,
Three,
I think they're under.
50 or
They're under.
Okay. You good?
You ready to vote? Vote to approve.
Yeah, make a motion to vote to award the bid to R9. You second it, and we vote, right?
Yep, well, we can just vote.
Okay, I vote yes.
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 Motion carries, motion passes. Next item on the agenda is mayor's report. JBIC, we're trying to have a joint meeting with them sometime next month, either on our 4th or the 18th. We're gonna be reaching out to them to decide, when to do that. And we can all meet in here with the citizens and try to get a plan of action, especially with our beautification that's coming up. Now, second item is, now as far as the Create Doubters group, I've kind of termed it. Just as now, I will be spending the next several minutes addressing some unnecessary issues instead of things I'd really like to be speaking of, such as the beach plan, dune fencing, the almost completed bollards and signs on the beach, FM 3005, our road repaving and its schedule, the wildlife around Jamaica Beach, and so much more. This group has called several issues at hand, including some not getting what they wanted, to some not understanding their duties, or as a citizen, the order and the decorum, the respect, the city's protocols and boundaries, state and local law, employee privacy, personal opinions, slander, ethics, city productivity, city guidelines and ordinances, and false pretense. If more of their time was spent understanding these things first and less time always trying to find something being done wrong from their lack of that knowledge in the process, the more productive we all could be. Yes, I know there is an entertainment part of Facebook, though you should not depend on it as gospel in its unofficial sources. Who watches 1883? I was on Facebook reading unassorted opinion news, our so-called news, over the last few weeks. I noticed several of those agencies reporting this season was going to be the last and only season. I was like, wow, dang. I so enjoyed the show. It was upsetting. I thought, reason says no way. It's just too successful. Did I jump on Paramount Facebook page and to show my displeasure? Did I immediately fire off a nasty email? Did I run out and start telling everyone? No, something just didn't seem right. A few weeks later, I saw an interview with Taylor Sheridan, who's the creator, and he said he looked forward to some character building in season 2, though season 2 would probably be the last season, for 1932 was going to be the next prequel. I was so happy. News straight from the source. What a novel idea. Our staff, our city Facebook site and city website is there just for these type of questions. If you have an issue or a question, please call or email. Sometimes this is a great way for us to go ahead and post something we need to. The city is working on creating and updating social media guidelines for staff and elected officials, the agenda policies, the city council policies and procedures manuals. Certain individuals have chosen to cherry pick laws and guidelines to try and create chaos and confusion.
I'll take credit for that, Mayor.
Order. All the while making the city and the city staff unproductive from their daily duties. Here's just an example of the number of open records and from whom. Just since the beginning of the year, we've had 40 requests. 28 of them are from 9 businesses, and it's just a normal way that business is done. All cities get it. 12 at this point are from citizens. 3 from Ms. Tabbert. We've had 3 from Ms. Jones. 1 from Carrie Heath, a reporter at Galveston News, and 2 from Mr. Hubert. I'm not going to go into what they're for, but I will at some point next month. I will be going through that because this will be a monthly report and the details will be coming. Yes, I know everyone has a right to everything we do. I made it one of my priorities to update the city's website so we could have more info on it. And we're doing it. The old website was just, it you almost had to be a computer programmer to change it or to add things. Where do these open records requests become harassment versus a right to know? 1, 2 or 3, 20 or 30? Ms. Jones just bragged that she had 64 open records requests, all from the same individual or group. State law says unlimited, as it should. I ask you, Jamaica Beach citizens, do you want your staff working on meaningless open record requests? Not saying they're all meaningless by any means. Or do you want them doing something productive that benefits everyone? May I remind you, before I go that, the 64 Ms. Jones had said she had posted, and I don't recall seeing many at all on her Facebook page, the reporters. May I remind everyone, your elected officials are unpaid and do this because they love this community. They love this city. It's unfair that a select few choose to make this as difficult as possible for them. While for the most part, every elected official is out being productive, spending countless hours meeting with outside agencies to get things done here in Jamaica Beach, to find monies, to make things happen for what's in the best interest of Jamaica Beach, and not to drag down staff. And while also creating these obstacles, these few choose to make, and while also creating obstacles for the ones who choose to make a positive, real, viable difference. Others of your elected officials have chosen to take on projects or help out in positive ways. Marcy works hard at the pool and at the park. Gil's been working on and assisting on the finance numbers for the city projects. Woody's had lots of STR input and fire department needs. Russell has been accompanying me to meetings with agencies, job site meetings and projects we have going on. Also being available for creative input with staff in their meetings, and helping me be even more productive than I ever could alone. You probably even start to hear, or you're soon going to start to hear, why we choose certain contractors or why we use certain contractors so often. Because we want a fair price in a reasonable amount of time, and most of all, we want it done right. We prefer to select from a local selection of contractors we know and can depend on. Now, I'm sure I will get open records requests for all who that is. How many of you really truly care about who it is? As long as it's being done right and at a fair price. This is just one example of what we are elected to do, and we do it. We should be able to do it without harassment and it creating 2 or 3 more open records requests, which takes staff time that you, as citizens, must pay for. You have elected us to make a difference and make daily decisions on running the city as efficiently as possible. And it being able to be done without a constant barrage of open records requests. That again costs taxpayers money for everyone that is requested about daily operations that you have elected us and trusted us to do. Not saying it shouldn't be done, though you, the taxpayer, pays for every one of them. Yes, we can charge for them at times, though it's minuscule to what it truly costs a taxpayer. You know, not long ago we charged someone $50. Well, it took a week's worth of staff. It took Debbie crawling up in the attic when it was freezing cold, digging through documents, digging these out. Whatever happened with that open records request, we don't know. It just gets requested and then goes on its merry way. Yes, we can, if you like a change from which way we are heading, please run for council or mayor. If not, let us do our job without constant inundation of requests, creating the ever slowing of progress with the bureaucratic red tape and obstacles. For some, it seems their daily job. They choose to sit at home on their computer, browsing funny memes to share, talking to one another to see what they could come up with next, versus seeing and appreciating the improvements all around the city. Visiting with citizens in a positive way, getting input, and spreading a positive word. Some of you have been there in life. You go to work in a great mood and have a great plan. You get there and wham. Here's this negative. Here's this challenge. There's that obstacle. There's another complaint. All created by one or two. Even though most know and appreciate and acknowledge your hard work, it takes a toll on you. Yes, you try to be understanding. You try to be empathetic. But it's every day, week after week, month after month. At some point, the nice guy will leave the building and you will start to fire back. And he will start to fire back. Or her will start to fire back. And at times ignore those constant unreasonable demands and requests that come from the same few people. For you, the silent majority, you know where my heart is, where my work ethic is, and how easy it is for me to visit and respond to you and explain the city's business. I take pride in that, and the majority of you know it. And finally, with all that being said, we will always welcome suggestions and constructive criticism and ideas. Just don't get mad because we don't do what you suggest, for there could be situations or circumstances that prevent it. We are trying, we are doing, and always thinking about what's in the best interest of Jamaica Beach as a whole. Thank you, guys. Motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn this meeting.
Second.
Second.
Meeting adjourned.